Hello, fellow geeks, and welcome to 100 Days of Horror, day number lucky 13, The Stone Tapes of 1972. As I noted in the last couple reviews, I am doing this on YouTube Live rather than my normal filmed and edited review, so get everything straightforward as it happens. I'm having issues with my external hard drive, so as long as that me and the external are fighting, I'll be doing it this way. So we do have a little bit of... you get those weird pauses and weird thoughts and me looking in the wrong place because I'm looking down at the screen instead of the camera, and a little bit lower resolution as we are up here in my DVD room. So 1972's Stone Tapes is a BBC production that was put out on 2 days over around Christmas of 1972 and is directed by Peter Subsey and written by Nigel Kneale. Known as Nigel Kneale is a fantastic writer of that era. He made Quartermass in the Pit, a couple other things, but a lot of folk horror, a lot of stuff about more ancient things, ghosts, this and that. So I was watching it as part of the folk horror. See, there we go. So I even cut this out, so thank you for putting up that part of the folk horror research for one of our upcoming podcasts. CityGeek.com, of course, does have our podcast as well. And if you're coming to us from anywhere else, CityGeek.com, we're doing 100 Days of Horror, which you watch 100 horror movies you haven't seen in the days leading up to Halloween. So go to our website there, go to the Facebook, and follow along and join us. I didn't put that in the beginning. I normally do. But this is, I've been hearing about this for a very long time as one of the most scary movies of all time. Really scary TV movies that messed up a lot of kids in the 70s when they watched it. Because, you put it on TV, and also you don't expect it to be something that's going to be frightening. 1972 on television. It's nothing like, say, Ghost Watchers came out 20 years later on BBC, which really messed up a nation, which is actually incredibly scary of a movie. This I can see where it's coming from, but I also really appreciate the differences it did compared to a normal ghost story. Now, the basic story is an audio company has moved into an old mansion that they've refitted for all the stuff that they're recording or working on, doing this, putting out. And they come across an empty room that the previous people who lived there, I think it was the army, wouldn't touch because of a ghost. So they tear down the wall, they start going through stuff, and they start to hear a scream. And the scream and the spirit is repeated in the same way. So it's residual haunting, something you don't normally see in horror films. Usually have an active haunting that's able to be intelligent and talk to and affect everyone. But in this case, we're seeing the same thing again and again and again, which brings up a lot of the idea that we feel in the paranormal community about, is it the stones keeping it? Is it the wood? Is it something else in the house that's having things affect in the same way this recording? So essentially, since they're a audio company looking at how things are recorded, now they have an audio anomaly with a little visual sometimes too, and figure out how this recording gets stuck and can they use that for their company. So I really liked seeing a residual haunting treated as such in a movie. As I've noted in previous reviews that we talked about the podcast a couple times, I'm a member of a ghost. They managed Ghost Hunter Seattle Tacoma, and I do ghost tours, Spooked in Seattle. So I do a lot of stuff with paranormal in my regular life. So when I see something treating it better than the normal overblown way that you see normally in movies, that's something really refreshing and really nice. And there actually is a thing called a stone tape theory based upon this movie, which of course he based upon other things, about materials that may be able to soak up that particular energy in a different way. I really appreciated in the movie also how the haunting affected different people in different ways. Like the main character, she both hears it and sees it. Other people only hear it, some people only see it. Some people don't have any effect at all. Everyone's in the same room, having different effects as their different abilities, different psychic abilities, are working in different levels. And these are just regular people. There aren't like psychics going in. There aren't parapsychologists going in. It's just regular people going to work, and then this happens. And that's really a different way of doing things. So you have a different outlook, and I really appreciated that. The movie itself is decently scary. There's a couple sequences at work because as they start to try and figure out how this haunting exists, not anything about her backstory and the ghost of why she's appearing, but more as in like actual story of like why this nurse fell off the staircase. We don't learn anything about that. But as they start to delve into this, it wakes up a more intelligent, malevolent presence. As it really pops in towards the end to kind of wrap up the story. So if you're waiting for something like that, something more direct, something more evil, something more dangerous, you're gonna have to wait to the end. So you're gonna see people working on this in this way. Now, the scream itself is piercing, and they hear it so many times that it still doesn't stop being piercingly almost terrifying. But yeah, Stone Tape is something I'm glad I finally saw. It wasn't. Yeah, it was a different presentation than you normally get for a haunting movie. If you're coming and watching it expecting something like Poltergeist or the Conjuring, you might be let down, but also looking at it as essentially a film play from 1972, made for TV. If you lower your expectations to that, I think you can have a good time because you have see good characters with good ways everyone's interacting, in a different way of approaching a haunting on film. So this is a day 13. We're back with day 14 soon. I'm gonna record that a little later today. That is actually day 20. If you're looking at this and like, wait, isn't he about a week off? Yeah, I did go on vacation, so I'm catching up and doing a couple reviews a day. Eventually I'll catch up and I'll just do the one a day. But until then, please keep an eye out for the for the upcoming reviews. Take a look at the last ones. Like, comment, subscribe. I know this is a little low key than my normal videos. But we'll see you next time. Go see Veek.com to see what everyone else is watching as well. Because, of course, it's not just me. It's about a dozen of us doing it. Thank you. And now for the awkward bit where I have to hit end stream. See you guys.